Hello, friends, and welcome to the live Carne Asada. As the sign says, you're live in the Carne Asada with your boys Alonso Juan, Alysha del Valle. Somewhere here is the babyface gimmick in the sky, Roger. We're all hanging out. And real quick before we get started, this episode of the podcast is presented by our partners at Bet Online. Bet Online continue to be the number one source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all of those latest odds, news, sports developments for the NBA playoffs, MLB, of course, fights, and even NFL futures. Juan's Las Vegas Raiders, of course. But BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and fan favorite Vegas casino and poker games. Super easy to get started. Head over to their website. It's betonline.ag, or use your mobile device and go to the App Store, sign up, use our promo code, which is Believe, BLEAV, the network that we're on, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. Huge thanks to them for presenting this week's episode. Guys, we're going to not bury the lead. Roger won the predictions this week, and I think hell froze over. What happened?
Hey, it wasn't just Roger that won. Alysha won, and you won, Alonso. The loser in here is me because I picked him to go 3-3. I mean, let's start it off. That what was the Philadelphia team that showed up to Dodger Stadium the week before? Because they didn't show up in Philly. I mean, what happened?
A tale of two cities, literally. Like, that wasn't the same team at all. I have no idea what happened. But let's also not forget, too, Mookie Betts right now is the best baseball player on the planet. It's not even fair how good that dude is right now. Granted, today's loss, it's a loss, but to me, it's one of those, like, it is what it is. But, the offense is starting to figure it out. Pitching, Tyler Anderson has completely come out of nowhere. And the poor Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim have no, like, what they do. But, Juan's second favorite team, by the way. If you watch the show, you know that Juan loves to endear the Angels of Anaheim. But, no, man, I listen, right now, all things considered, granted, the Phillies team that was in L.A. in comparison to what happened in Philly, night and day, even through all that, dude, this team is playing out of their mind right now.
First of all, loser is such a harsh word, Juan. Okay, wow. There's no losers and winners here because we're all on the same team, right?
Except Juan. Because he lost.
I was gonna say insert 90s hip hop song right there, but
oh wow.
No, really though, it was kind of exciting. I feel like Babyface and Roger and I always come from a place of like extreme hope, not fanaticism, just hope that this is how things are supposed to go. You win the series, and the Dodgers did that. And you brought up Mookie, you guys. This guy we're seeing Mookie do Mookie things, right? It's so exciting. And even though with today's loss, and Urias did his job, and I'm not mad. I'm not panicking. In fact, I'm wearing my jersey in his honor because I missed Mexican Heritage Day because I was in Mexico. But back to Mookie, back to the guys doing the thing. Freeman, Trey Turner. Trey Turner does not get enough love.
No.
But Mookie said himself post-game, I think it was yesterday, that finally, right? Those are the words he used. Finally, the Dodgers lineup is doing what the Dodgers lineup should be doing, or something like that. Right. And he's right? You know?
Well, hey, Alysha, can you clarify this for me? Because, at the beginning of the year when Mookie wasn't hitting, everybody was blaming his veganism.
Yes.
Did he not come out? Am I not understanding this correctly? I thought Mookie said he's not a vegan.
He did. He came out and said he's not a vegan.
Well, I don't look at me. I don't know if he went on record saying that. Again, I'm kind of behind. I'm catching up because I was in the motherland. But I feel even if he has to say that, why be bullied? It's how you treat your body as you become an older player has to change. You take the Tom Brady's, the LeBron James. So if he wants to be vegan and the proof is in the pudding, then eat the vegan pudding. You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe he's saying that because of the Angels pitcher that called out Mookie, right? Like, we're not scared of those guys. Their first at bat is a vegan. And I'm like, wow, that's a little harsh for the Angels. Like, I don't know.
Well, he came out and he said, I mean, this is a direct quote. He said, "You can tell them I do eat steak. Now, what's the next excuse when I don't hit?" That's what he said.
Yes.
I mean, isn't that a perfect reminder just to everybody? Baseball is a very long season. I mean, everybody was burying Mookie in the beginning. Alonso, you've brought this up many times. You were calling out. I forget who was the guy that said that Mookie had a bad contract.
Well,
that this was looking like a bad contract.
Yeah. Steve Mason said something like that, and I was just like, "What? How is like?" But I think it was more. No disrespect to Mace, friend of the show, by the way. I think it might have been a poll, or he was just kind of doing like a Q&A thing on his Twitter. Regardless, there is fans that thought for a while that that's a bad contract.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think it's a bad contract because you got a championship out of it to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
But isn't it amazing how different this lineup changes when he hits?
Mm-hmm.
Like when he is hitting, it's almost like contagious for the rest of the lineup.
100%. I mean, and listen to Alysha's point, a dude that I was hoping they would have extended in spring training, Trey Turner, is on one, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's doing Trey Turner things, and in my opinion, he's the best shortstop in baseball. I'm not even saying that because he plays for the Dodgers. I mean, realistically speaking, who else can you compare to Trey Turner right now? There really isn't. I mean, Carlos Correa, maybe Tatis when he's healthy. That's about it, right? So at the end of the day, I mean, the offense is doing what it needs to do right now, and that's what Dodger fans have been clamoring for.
Do you guys think it's weird? I know, Alysha, you brought it up, but do you guys think it's weird that they haven't initiated extension talks with him? Like, are they going to let this play out the whole year and just not negotiate with him until the offseason?
Go ahead, Alysha.
I mean, I have turned over a new leaf. I'm not panicking.
By the way, I love that you grouped Babyface as the two hopefuls on that on this show. It's just like, oh, really? Babyface is a hopeful on this show. Oh, okay, all right.
By the way, I liked his here's the mic, right? He turns to the side. This guy, like he just did one of those.
Little profile.
I'm sorry. I buy you as you being the hopeful one on this show. I don't buy Babyface as being the hopeful one on this show. Maybe
so
because
what am I? What am I?
You hate
I am
watch.
the hopeful.
You hate watch the Dodgers.
I do not hate watch.
I
am hopeful. I am the most hopeful.
Wow.
Most hopeful.
Watch.
Yeah, you're the most hopeful that they.
team.
But if they don't go 6-0, you think they're the worst team in Major League Baseball. They're losers. Just cancel the season.
If that's true, I would have said they were going to go 6-0 this series. I said they were going to go 4-2, right?
Low key on the inside, I know you said 8-0, and they were. I mean, and truthfully, it was a 6-game spread, right? So, I mean, how are you going to sit here and say you don't hate watch though? Like, Juan, right? Am I?
How many times have you cursed out Gavin Lux and want him banished from the Dodgers?
One time,
and then he gets a game-winning hit, and then you hear Babyface. That's my Lux. I knew all along.
I was rooting for him to do something. Kind of
hate watching?
Reverse psychology.
That's what it is. I don't. Perdona me. Okay, go ahead, Alysha. I'm sorry. The floor is yours.
Okay, well then I would like to make a correction, and you are not another hopeful like me. No, I've been called. I'm saying hopeful. I'm rebranding Homer, Pollyanna. Rose tinted sunglasses, whatever. I'm always the one that's like, be cool, be nice. They're our team, yada, yada, yada. Don't boo our own players, yada, yada, yada.
Juan.
But
I guess I need to be more of a pro-ho, right? Am I using that term correctly, Alysha? Or did I just show how unhip I am? I'm not a pro-ho. Is that not what the kids are calling it these days?
There's a little bit of column A and column B that just happened right there.
No, I wouldn't call that being a pro.
Okay.
A fanatic, maybe, but not a pro. Wow. Boys and girls, we're going to take a moment later at the end of the show to explain what a pro is. But for now, let's bring it back to the question at hand. I would like to believe that the Dodgers are doing their due diligence. They're doing who knows what they're doing behind closed doors in the offices. The suits get paid to do suit things, and just because it's not public doesn't mean things haven't been started, right? Who is Trey Turner's agent? I don't know.
I think it's Excel Sports, I think.
Okay, so we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All I do know is that there were a lot of Dodger fans upset and crying over the loss of Seager. And as much as I'm thankful and grateful for what Seager did for our Dodgers, I was excited and stayed excited and was rooting for Trey Turner to stay. Let's not forget, let's not gloss over that Seager left. He chased the money. And I've been volunteering, and I've covered a lot of Dodger community events, and I never saw Seager at an event. So in my mind, my Pollyanna world, maybe Seager just really didn't truly love being here. So let's not gloss it over and make him more important to the city than he is. He's gone. And we've got Trey Turner, and I just don't think all of this is leading not to disrespect Seager. Again, thank you, Seager and his family. But I want more love for Turner. Does that make sense? And so I have to believe that the Dodgers are doing what they do and what they've been doing, which is why we're so spoiled. And we have the seasons that we do, and the season is going the way it's supposed to. So I have faith in the Dodgers management. At least for today, I do.
Well, correction, by the way, not Excel. Apologies to Trey Turner. CAA Sports. CAA Sports is notorious for doing things quietly too. So, for all we know, they could be. He did say that they did not make an extension before spring training. We talked about this, right? That Trey said that. I'm not overly surprised that they're not doing anything as well, because also let's call a spade a spade. They're probably being a little more cautious with stuff after some of the things that have transpired with other deals that have happened. Not to pick on anyone, but the Trevor Bauer thing, obviously the diligence is going to be extra important now, right? So, and if we know anything about this Dodgers front office, they're all about diligence, right? So I trust Andrew Friedman, all things considered, because let's be real. You got rid of Corey Seager and you got Freddie Freeman. That's a pretty good trade-off.
Absolutely. I mean, they took 2 out of 3 in Philadelphia. They very easily could have swept that series.
Yeah.
The Sunday game was rough. There wasn't much offense. We're going to get to the way it ended, but before we get to the way that Sunday game ended, the Dodgers, we talked about this before in terms of maybe the Dodgers aren't hitting for enough power. And does that concern you that the Dodgers aren't hitting as many home runs as they were hitting in the past, but they are scoring runs? 2 of the 2 runs that they scored on Sunday before, things went crazy on them on Sunday were based on home runs. And one of them was, I think Mookie hit the first home run. And then the second home run was Edwin Rios. What do you guys think about Edwin Rios?
Me, you, Edwin right now, the thing I respect about that dude, he's platooning, right?
You guys hear that accordion?
I hear that.
Someone's at the door, I think.
Someone's at the door. Let him in. Open the gate.
Let's check.
Open the gate. And look who's joining us live on the Carne Asada, ladies and gentlemen. Current Dodger, Edwin Rios. Edwin, who is just doing things that are historical in terms of his home run ratio, but we're going to get into that. Edwin, thank you for coming on the show and joining us.
Oh, man, of course. Good to talk to you guys. Bring it. See what we got.
Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to have a good time here. I'm going to set the tone for you right here, Edwin. I know you're a Puerto Rican, right, Edwin?
Yep.
So I have to know, what is the Spanish word that you use for bean?
Habichuela.
Okay. So we're frijoles guys over here. So Can you explain to me why using frijoles triggers you Puerto Ricans? We were talking to Jorge Castillo. We use the word we use frijoles, and we literally offended him. We called him like a piece of garbage or something. Are you triggered by frijoles?
I don't think so, man. I think growing up in Orlando and just being with so many, you know, Hispanics, and then going to school in Miami with Cubans, and them calling, you know, the beans frijoles too, and they thought I was crazy when I said habichuela at a Latin America by the school. So I think I triggered the Cubans before they triggered me. So we're good here.
So what is it about the Latino community? Why do we get triggered by like the simplest things?
I don't know, man. I think we're just, you know how it is. I think we're very prideful, and we we like to represent our you know, our culture and stuff like that. But at the same time, you know, we're all together. You know, we're all Hispanics.
Right on. Alonso, go ahead.
Well, and to Edwin's point, we all run very hot. Corremos todos bien calientes, and it just escalates quickly, and it's a wrap.
Yeah, you're not lying. You're not lying.
How aside from, obviously, you know, you're currently doing the thing. It looks like you're feeling great. You know, obviously that surgery that you had was not just a minor procedure. How's the body feeling, all things considered?
It's feeling good, man. I think just trying to be mindful, trying to be smart. I don't even know the body's feeling good. Just kind of not trying to overdo it. Obviously, you know, missing a whole year of baseball. It's sometimes you want to just get back out there and just do the most, but it's almost like I have to tell myself to do a little less, just so I can, you know, be here all year and be healthy and do anything I can to help our team win.
No, absolutely, and that's actually one thing I was curious about with you. You know, you're not necessarily playing every day. So there's some days where you might get, you know, a couple days off, or they may bring you in a pinch hit situation, or, you know, DH, whatever the case may be. How do you kind of mentally stay prepared? Because as baseball players, we're all wired to just go. Like, you know, there is a stopgap, right? So you've kind of had to condition yourself. So how do you kind of keep in that mindset to kind of stay focused? Because obviously you're laser focused right now, and you're just doing the thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you're an everyday guy, you know, you can just put all your focus on, you know, the game, everything leading up to the game. For me, it's, you know, I have to, depending on, you know, what day it is, if I'm starting or not, I have a different focus, you know, that day. So if I'm not playing, I'm putting a lot of my focus into the weight room and then into my cage work. And that's where all my focus is. And then, you know, when I am playing, obviously all the focus is into the game, not trying to, you know, kill myself in the weight room. You know, that's a lighter day just to get ready for the game. So for me, it's more just, you know, changing it up, being smart, but at the same time, you know, pushing my body in the sense of, it's like if I was playing every day, just so when I do get in there, it's not a surprise to the body or and stuff like that. So I mean, it's definitely different. But you know, I've tried it this year, and it's worked out pretty good so far.
Fair enough. Juan?
Hey, Edwin, look, I'm a professional beer league softball player, so I know you and I have a lot in common, being athletes and all that stuff. So I'm just curious, how aware are you of your stats? Like me, you know, I went 4 for 4 the other day, you know, stuff like that. The reason why I ask you this is you're averaging a home run like every 9 at bats. So there's people, I don't know if you're aware of this, on the Twitters that refer to you as Babe Rios. Is that a nickname that you like? Do you have a nickname? How do you feel about nicknames? Because I think nicknames need to be earned. You can't just give yours. It's got to fit the person, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I try to stay away from Twitter and stuff like that, to be honest. You know, I just like to have fun. You know, the guys mess around with it. Sometimes they'll bring it up and stuff like that. But, you know, I try not to look into it too much, you know, knowing it's a long year, not falling into the hype, and, you know, just taking things day to day and just controlling the things I can.
So the clubhouse is aware that you're putting up like Babe Ruth like numbers then, right?
I mean, I guess, you know, they'll Belly yesterday yelling, "Here comes the babe," and I was like, "Man, stop it." So I mean, but no, man, I'm just enjoying it, and you know, taking it day to day. Just keep having good at bats, and if the homers keep coming, then you know, keep them coming.
Well, I think it's really interesting that you say you stay off of the Twitter because, you know, there are athletes that are very aware of their brand and use Twitter to promote their brand, right? But like in a situation like you, I think you're probably better off not being on Twitter, right? Because last year, at the beginning of the year, when everybody's like, Harper, what's wrong with Edwin Rios? And then later on, we find out your shoulder's completely jacked up. I mean, what does that do? We see what happened with poor Max Muncy yesterday. I felt so bad for him, right? And it's like we as fans forget that you guys are human beings. The struggles, you're out there trying to do your job and you're injured. And now to see you come out this year, the way you came out, it's like, that's what we were hoping we would see from Edwin Rios last year. What is the mental state that helps you get through that injury or dealing with maybe not being as successful as you want to be?
No, I just think you just have to go back to, look back at all you've done and literally realize that you're a big league player and not many people can do what you're doing. It's a 1% of the 1%. And if you just tell yourself that, you kind of just bleep out all the noise and all the stuff and just remind yourself that you're here for a reason. And that's kind of been my mindset. Obviously, like you said, with the stuff last year. But, just taking it, like I tell you, day to day, enjoying this moment. And, yeah.
There you go, Alonso. He just literally, in a nice way, just told me, hey, beer league softball guy, I'm not going to listen from you because you can't do – I'm in the major leagues. That's the best comeback ever, right, Alonso? It's like, hey, dude, I'm in the major leagues. What are you doing?
I mean, I guess if there's any solace, you're in the Major League Beer League Softball League. So, I mean, I guess that makes you feel better.
Yeah, but nobody calls me babe. I don't walk around and have other major leaguers call me babe. I mean, come on.
That's fair. I actually wanted to ask you that, Edwin. So, I mean, this year's group is I feel like it's a special group, and I know it's kind of cliche to kind of say that, for the last few years, because we as Dodger fans have been relatively spoiled, since – I can't even remember the last time, there was a team that wasn't considered kind of special, what's the general vibe in that clubhouse? Because obviously, they went out and got Freddie Freeman, and that's a huge addition. You lost to Corey Seager, who I know was kind of a glue of that clubhouse as well. So what's the vibe like in general in the clubhouse right now?
Man, it's been good. I think everybody just kind of, knows what the ultimate goal is. We've all kind of, know our roles. We're ready to go. But like you said, man, you look at that 1, 2, 3 just there. It's just like looks like it could be an all-star team, with our 1, 2, 3 and stuff like that. And it's pretty unreal to be part of this team and trying to soak up everything from a lot of these guys, a lot of all-stars, a lot of MVPs here. So definitely a special team, and we're just taking it day to day.
Easy enough. And Edwin Rios stopping by for a few minutes here in the Carne Asada. I was late, as was Alysha, because adult responsibilities. But Alysha, what do you have for Edwin Rios?
Yeah. Hi, Edwin. Here at Bleed Los Podcast, I don't know if they told you that we are the only Latino-centric flavored podcast talking Dodgers, LA culture, and we are huge supporters of you, and you're killing it this season. And we just want to make sure and remind everybody how special it is that you come up off the bench and you kill it. So first of all, bravo and thank you. And in that same line of questioning, how important is it to you to represent Latinos, to represent, the young guys, the guys that are the future of baseball? Is that important to you to represent Latinos?
I mean, of course. Like we've talked about, and kind of everybody knows, most of our fan base is, we're Mexicans, and we're all Latins, and I think that's an important thing when we're able to stick together as the Hispanic community and stuff like that. So just being able to get the culture out there and have the Hispanic community behind me, it's always great. Puerto Rican here, and I was always very into culture. Pops didn't let us talk English at the house. It was always Spanish, just because he didn't want us to forget. So definitely huge. And then having Hanser come in too, and that's you add another Hispanic, and we get that Latin flavor in here. It's always good.
That's awesome. I love that.
He's good. He's good, Alysha, because he's not triggered by frijoles. Hey, let me ask you, Edwin. I got to ask you this because we had Max Muncy on the show earlier in the season, and he talked about how the clubhouse really liked the mariachis. But lately, I feel like the tide's been turning on the mariachis. Is there too much mariachi music for you now at Dodger Stadium?
No. I love it. I love it when that I don't know what his name is. It's the bigger guy. When he just
Julian Torres.
Julian, when he lets them vocals go and the whole stadium goes crazy. I love it. I love it. I can't miss it. I'm always out there for it. So
Woo.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I love fans when the fans kind of get into it and they start getting loud and they sing back. I mean, it's nothing like it. You know, nobody else does it like LA does it.
You know, all the minor league guys like Cartaya and Miguel Vargas always say that the Latin guys are the loudest guys in the locker room. Is that true? Are you and Hanser and Brewstar, do you guys run that locker room there at Dodger Stadium?
I wouldn't say we run it, but I say we're definitely we're the louder bunch. I'd say for sure. You know, we don't know how to whisper. When we talk normal, we yelling. You know what I'm saying? When everybody else is yelling, you know, that they're talking to us. You know what I'm saying?
But it's not yelling, right, Edwin? You're just talking in a normal tone.
Exactly. We're just talking. And then when we yell, it's like, okay, crazy. We just, you know, you can't hear nothing else.
What's the go-to victory song right now? Is it Latino music or is it?
I think we during the day we always have reggaeton playing in the clubhouse while we're in there and stuff like that. But after games, Mookie's got like this mixtape. I think one of his boys, the DJ, and he kind of has like a mixtape. So every time we win, we have that mix going.
Nice. I was low key hoping it was like Los Tigres del Norte, but so it's good. Edwin Rios stopping by here. One last one from Alysha before we set you loose. Alysha, go ahead.
No. I just wanted to. You brought up the fans and how special it is in LA, and I love that you love the mariachi. You've been all over the world, especially throughout all the ballparks here in Major League Baseball. Is there something different? Is there anything special about Dodger fans? Because we sure think we're special. We love the hate we get from everyone else, but can you give us a little insight? Because you're like down there on the field, you know, historic.
Yeah, it's just different, you know. Obviously, like you said, we play in a lot of stadiums, but definitely when we go back home, it's like, no, this is Dodger Stadium. You know, fans are loud in other places, and they fill out somewhat. But when we go back to Dodger Stadium, and you got 50, 60,000 people in there all the time, it's like, man, like these fans just keep coming out, and they just love going to games and love supporting the guys.
So, do you hate the wave or nah?
Bring it, Edwin. Bring it. Come on. You can be honest.
No
honestly, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I know that there's been talks about it and stuff like that, but I mean, let the fans do what they want. Who cares?
Baseball's supposed to be fun. That's why I always say baseball's supposed to be fun. So do the wave. It's fun.
We're gonna let Edwin go on this note. Edwin, you're in the show just because of your hair. Now, what does bandana season mean?
I don't know, man. I hate wearing a hat. And I just decided, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna start when I'm in the dugout. I just wear a headband, put my Curl Smith on, and then just roll.
Yeah, I know why you hate wearing a hat. If I had that hair, I'd be showing that off all the time. I mean, shout out to Coming to America. Let your soul glow, everybody. Look at that head of hair right there. He's in the show for the hair.
That's show hair. I mean, you gotta
show hair.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, Edwin Rios, we appreciate the time, giving us a few minutes. Good luck the rest of the way on the road trip, and we will catch you back at the Raven this weekend.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Edwin.
Have a good one.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Just like that, our friend Edwin joined us on the show. What'd you guys think about that? I mean, this is why you got to watch the live show, because you just never know who's going to stop by the Carne Asada.
My general takeaway is you're envious of his hair.
Right?
All right, so let's just have the
We're
conversation.
on to you.
Let's do it.
The Dodgers seem to have a lot of candidates for show hair.
Huh?
Babyface brought this up. I mean, look, Edwin has that tight curl. I mean, it works for him. But Babyface brought up Pepio yesterday. I mean, have you guys seen Ryan Pepio's hair?
That dude's got some solid hair. I mean, for me, it's either right now at least it's Pepio or Rios to have the best show hair in that clubhouse. Cody Bellinger is a close second. Cody Bellinger has a nice set of.
He
nice
shaved
set of
it
hair.
though. He shaved his head, so it kind
He
of
did shave it.
yeah. He was since last year, and then I think he hasn't really grown it back.
I thought he grew it back and then was like combing it.
Alysha, who's your candidate for best show hair on the Dodgers?
Well, now that we know Edwin Rios is an official friend of the Carne Asada, I'm going with Rios show hair all day. But my daughter loves she loves the Catman, but don't get triggered, babyface. She loves the redhead, the lion. She's missing him. We need him to come back, and he will be back, and just in time for the second half of the season. But yeah, she's gonna vote. that way.
Yeah, it's going to be like an Herbal Essence commercial in
No
that locker room,
kidding.
right? Once Dustin May comes out, or Head and Shoulders, whatever is
Head
your
and
choice.
Head
shoulders.
and shoulders, yeah. Like the Troy Polamalu commercials. Those are good commercials.
Yeah, exactly. With Dustin May, I mean, but Edwin's got that tight curl, man. So it was. So thank you again to Edwin Rios for stopping by the Carne Asada.
cool.
It's a huge shout out.
And continued success, hopefully, for Edwin this season. We were about to get into it before Edwin showed up, but one thing I do want to talk about is what happened to Max Muncy on Sunday.
Yeah.
So immediately, the error happens. The Dodgers end up losing the game, and I'm just like, oh no. I felt so bad for the guy because I knew what was coming. So I knew he was going to get destroyed on Twitter. And so I went to Twitter, and sure enough, everybody was like, get Muncy out of there, send him down to the minor leagues, bench him. But what I was really happy about and really surprised was the amount of people that stood up for him. Like, if anybody who saw that post-game interview with him that he did with Spectrum Sportsnet, the guy took accountability, and it was just heartbreaking because you could see how much it hurt him to make that air. You see that he's struggling right now. And, we've had him on the show, and he talked to us about the struggles that he went through early in his career where he just didn't want to play baseball. Like, baseball wasn't fun for him. So for me, immediately, I was like, oh, what is this going to do to Muncy? Like, what is this going to do to Muncy's somebody just drove through my house, I guess.
Transformer.
Yeah.
You had a pet Decepticon.
Optimus Prime just showed up in my house right now. I don't know what the hell just happened. But anyways, I mean, I felt like I was so bad, but I was really happy to see so many people on social media stand up for Muncy to defend him. And it's not like, they were saying, look, they acknowledge that he's struggling right now, but it was just really nice to see people pick him up because, Twitter's garbage, right?
Yeah.
You see the worst of people on Twitter. So it was really nice for me to see how many people stood up for Muncy. What did you guys see in that?
I mean, the error was gnarly, right? But it's a mistake. At the end of the day, we all make mistakes. He took accountability for it. I felt for the guy. Obviously, he's coming back from an injury. We talked about that with him. But also, he himself said, stuff isn't going my way right now, but he's also, trying to move on to greener pastures. And you said it a little bit ago too, Juan, before Edwin joined us. Baseball is a game of cycles, right? Like you go from struggles to success back to maybe struggles, or you kind of coast, whatever the case may be. I'm not worried about Max. I don't even think the Dodgers are worried about Max because, again, he's coming off of a UCL surgery. That isn't a minor surgery. That isn't just like, hey, we're going to go in there, scope, you'll be down in 30 minutes and back on the field in a month. That's way more intrusive than that. So what I did like about that is he humanized it too, because as you were saying, Roger's Twitter feed of just everything about how Max sucks and we should get rid of him, send him down to the minors immediately, option him, whatever. Again, it's Edwin Rios said it best. Those guys know they're the 1% of the 1%. But, him showing that human emotion, I think was great to give insight because I feel like we got a little bit more insight into Max instead of just kind of what you see, because I know he doesn't do a lot of media and a lot of stuff like this. So all things considered, it was rough, but they didn't go out and kind of drop the series per se. Like they didn't go out that way. You know, they were able to rebound and do the thing. But I mean, I still felt so bad for him because you could see it and hear it in his voice, just how upset he was and just how, you know, just how defeated he was is the only other way to put it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys, but I'm going to take it just even a few moments before his post-game interview. You could see it at the end of the game, right? Like him hunched over, his body language. It gave me the chills, kind of like, oh, like if that era would have happened to anyone else, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. It's because it's Max Muncy. So I love that my team, my Bleed Los guys, are reminding everybody of his injury, of who the 1%ers are, of these are professionals and they are human. Our friend of the Carne Asada reminded us of just that when Alana Rizzo was on, right? Like she dealt with these guys for many years and still does representing MLB. And she's here to remind us, like, they are human. So I'm going to flash forward to Twitter can be garbage, because after all of the hate that our own fans were giving, Muncy, don't get me started. The next morning happened to go on Twitter and there was some hateful things still. One of the tweets I saw was, "Good morning to everyone except Max Muncy." And this was a Dodger fan. And I was like, yo, like that is so harsh. And like Edwin Rios did point out, their fans, let them do what they want. Well, yeah, but I don't know, when it's coming from like a vindictive, like when someone goes after you personally or your family, I mean, that's, you know, I just don't think that's cool. And yeah, that was an unfollow moment right there. Not that they care. I mean, I've got like this many since still, that was my revenge.
It's the principle.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I mean, you're so right, though, Alysha. That image of him when he threw home and the run scored, and then he just literally just like squatted, and you could just like immediately. I had texted Babyface, where I was like, of all the guys that could happen to, I mean, when it just rains, it pours. And again, this is why, look, all sports are difficult to play. That this is part of the reason why I think Major League Baseball is the most difficult sport to play. And that is because the day-to-day, every day you got to deal with this. And it's the mental aspect of it. I mean, when you saw all the hate that was said to him on social media, there was nobody harder on Max Muncy than he was on himself. Amen. I mean, that post game interview, it was just heartbreaking, man. I mean, how could you not go up to him and just be like, "It's okay, man. It's just one game," and you can't stress enough. We're gonna need you. We need you to snap out of this. We need you to start hitting, because in the end, this is a long season. We're barely getting close to the 2-month mark on the season, and we got 4 more months to go. So I'm rooting for the guy. I hope the guy goes on a tear. Like I said, I was just very encouraged by the fact that it's like, oh, we're not all horrible human beings. There was a lot of people that went to defend him, and I thought that was great. Babyface, I know there's a lot of people that hate watch baseball just like you, and makes me wonder, did they even like baseball? What was your take on this? Like, what did you think?
No, I mean, same thing. I mean, you feel bad for the guy. He's going through the struggles right now, and yeah, it doesn't seem like he could catch a break, and and seemed like a routine play, and it just it took a bad hop. But he stood up to it. I mean, how many guys after that would say, you know what, I'm not talking to the media today, and kind of just I'm not going to talk. And he went there. He spoke. He said what happened. He acknowledged what's going on. He's struggling, and he's going to try and make it right. And that's what us as Dodger fans, we have hope that he's going to make it right. It's May. Look at Mookie. First 10 games, how's Mookie doing?
Yeah.
And everybody was, what's wrong with Mookie? Is he going to kind of same thing that he did last year. So you never know. A guy could turn it on from one game. Muncy come out tomorrow and have a couple hits and a home run, and that's it. He's on. So
you called it.
You never know. You never know what's going to happen the next game.
Hey, Alysha, let me ask you this, because your whole thing about booing, especially booing your own team. When you crap on your own team on Twitter, isn't that the equivalent of booing?
Yes, it is. I'm glad that you brought that up. No, but seriously,
There you go. Hit it out of the fight. Go
yes,
ahead, Alysha.
it is. And
What a softball.
Yeah.
so, I'm okay. Look at just like the people who say, "I bought my ticket, I can boo," da da da. And I'm not here to tell you. I am not, the fun police, or even I would never tell anyone how to act. I come from a place of whether it's booing your own team at our own ballpark. You are booing them when you attack them on Twitter. And let's just give them a pass because it was such an emotional way to lose. And Muncy's, on the mend. That's what I would like to call it. He's on the mend. And he is going to change this around because the Dodgers know what they're doing. How is that helpful is my point in all of this. If our goal as fans is to cheer and uplift our guys and get them going and remind them you have the best fans, well, do we want to be like Phillies fans, like Yankees fans, like fair weather, Padres fans? We need to be Dodger fans. And it is not legacy to boo our own players. It just isn't. I'm old enough. Trust me. So this whole new anger, I don't know if it's because it seems like countrywide there's a lot of anger. I hope that this does not become the norm. But things like Twitter, when you're attacking players and making it personal, yes, that is booing in my little book, for sure.
It's interesting that you bring up Philly fan. Earlier in the season, I forget his first name, but the third baseman for the Phillies, Baum. Am I pronouncing this last name right? Bohm?
I think that's how you say it.
Sounds right.
He made 3 errors in one game, right? Yeah. And Philly fan was all over him. They were booing him. The next game, in his first at bat, he got a standing ovation by Philly fan. And why? Because it got leaked. I don't know how they got the audio, but that game where he made the 3 errors, you could hear him say, "I hate this place."
Yeah.
So again, it was very humanizing, right? You hear this guy, he's aware of the boos. I mean, it's bad enough the guy made 3 errors, right? But he acknowledges the boos, and then it's all over the news that he says, "I hate this place." And then his first at bat. So even Philly fan, who is notorious for being hard on their players, the next day gave the guy a standing ovation. I would love to see when Max Muncy comes back to Dodger Stadium next week for the fans to try to lift him up in a situation. So I'm starting to come around to your argument, Alysha, about I just look, the guy is struggling. We don't need to pile up on him.
Thank you.
And stuff help. Like this.
Can we agree that it won't help? I mean, if I thought there was in any way that booing would help our players, no. Again, they're human. There's the mental, you're already struggling. We saw it in his body language. We heard him and saw it in his post interview. What more do fans want? Blood? Do they want we have to know. And to your point, Juan, when you said sometimes you wonder if baseball fans even love baseball.
Yeah.
When they attack our own players like that, or attack any player personally, calm down.
Hey, Juan.
Yes, sir.
So imagine if everybody would be watching you while you're doing your job at your work.
Yeah.
And when you get the copy machine stuck, or you spill your coffee over all your paper that you've had for a week,
or when I'm hosting a podcast and my producer is just crapping on me because I have bad takes.
So imagine if they would be watching every move that you made. That's what these players are doing. They're out there doing their job, and of course they're gonna have bad games and they're gonna have good games, just like everybody else. We're gonna have bad days and we're gonna have good days, right?
And it's a long season.
It's a marathon. It is not a sprint.
Marathon, exactly.
And things can change. Things can change in the drop of a hat.
100%.
Just like that. Babyface gave the example of Mookie. Well, this is how we're going to transition into this national series. Tyler Anderson got destroyed by the Philadelphia Phillies at Dodger Stadium. And since that start, for him to go, he went 8 innings, right, the other day?
Yes.
He's gone like 15 innings, 2 runs.
Yeah, he went
like
7
and 15 strikeouts in those last 2 games.
Yeah, he went 7 and then he went 8. I mean,
cut out.
Alonso brought this up. I was not expecting this from Tyler Anderson. I mean, is he going to be able to keep this up for the rest of the season? No, but I mean, he is saving right now the Dodgers pitching staff, the way him and Babyface's favorite, Gonsolin again. I mean, poor Gonsolin, he had some bad luck on Sunday, but he left that game winning it. Left that game winning it. So,
and I mean, let's not forget too, on Monday, Tyler Anderson goes 8 innings, and they only had to use Phil Bickford. That was it. Mm-hmm. So he's letting the bullpen chill. He's going out and doing his job. Is it sustainable? I mean, I don't know. I don't really know a whole lot about Tyler Anderson. I mean, the only thing I do know is the Dodgers find these diamonds in the rough, and here we are again, right, with Tyler Anderson. Andrew Heaney, another diamond in the rough, has been, trying to come back from injury, but prior, he was also doing his job. Julio Rios didn't have the best outing, but it wasn't a terrible outing today either.
I mean, he only gave up a run.
Yeah. So,
he did his job. Okay, calm down, Alonso. He did his job.
Well, I mean, but the reason I say it that way, I mean, at this point, we just kind of have to nitpick. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, you're right. We're spoiled.
We're spoiled. I mean, like I said when we started, yeah, they lost today, but I don't even really look at it like a loss because the Dodgers offense didn't really do their job today per se, but Julio Rios did his job. So that's why for me, I still kind of look at that as like a move in the right direction.
As Juan would say, they used all their runs game.
Oh, I would say that? You're going to give me credit for that? I mean, this is how crazy baseball is, right?
It is.
The Dodgers scored 10 runs on Monday. They scored 9 runs yesterday, and today they can't score. So, I mean, how do you explain that? I mean, the team goes through an offensive explosion, and then a guy whose ERA is over 3 today completely shuts them down. I mean, how do you explain that? It's just baseball.
You can't, because baseball doesn't make any damn sense.
It doesn't, and that's why it's like my ex-boyfriend. That as soon as I swear it off, I fall all in love all over again. Back.
Swing and a miss. I mean, that's
wow. That analogy really they came out of nowhere. All right.
It really sat with me and made perfect sense to why the microcosm
What do you
of baseball.
mean? You guys have never heard how baseball is romantic?
All I know is Alysha goes to the motherland, and now she comes back, and she's just working things out. I guess she's we're gonna air things. It's the airing of grievances. It's Happy Festivus, everybody.
Yeah. It's Festivus, but Memorial Day's next weekend.
Just when it breaks your heart, you find a way to love it again. That's all. Is that a better way of saying it? Instead of calling it my ex-boyfriend? Okay.
you can call it whatever you want. You just went right. Yeah, you just went down a dirt road, and I like to stay on the pavement, but I get it.
Let's bring it back. I got you.
As some people say, you straight off into the beaten path as we were going down the 5. I don't know what happened, but somehow we ended up in Compton. I don't know what happened.
I'm sorry. Wait.
You're gonna start getting messages from Alysha's ex. Stop talking about me on your show.
Yeah.
Why do I keep getting blown up? You guys are talking about me. I don't know who is we, because it was not we.
You got it. Yeah, man.
I just work here.
I will say, I'm with you, Alonso. I am not super bummed at all about today's. I'm not panicking, and you're still going to find that element of those fans that will be freaked out, and that's fine, right? As long as they're not attacking personally. I do love how after all that went down with Muncy, Mookie doing his thing. We talked about Trey Turner. All of the good things that are going right for the Dodgers. It needs to be, we should also remember how stacked the Dodgers are. Juan brought up cycles. That is coming, y'all. As soon as something goes wrong, the Dodgers as a team are so stacked, and not just on the roster. I mean, we are going to be okay. So we shouldn't panic. And I'm speaking to myself too, because I've been known to jump off the deep end. I'm working on that. And I'm remembering it is a marathon and we are going to be okay. We're winning series, right?
Yeah.
We are
We are still in first place.
yes.
You know, and sometimes you see the reactions on Twitter, and it's just like I have to look at the standings to be like, oh, okay,
Tranquilo.
no pasa nada, no pasa nada. You know, I mean, it is really fascinating to me where I do feel I was one of those fans, Alysha. I was one of those guys that would get mad after every game, and it's just like I have to remind myself, hey, you like baseball, right? Like, what would you do if you didn't have the Dodgers to watch? Like,
Like, you know what it is, Juan? It's your Raider fandom. Years of abuse.
Whoa.
go Raiders. Hey,
Yeah,
man,
years of abuse that have made you such a hate. You hate watch too sometimes. I know you do. I mean, I think we all do.
you guys can hate on the Raiders all you want, but Kaepernick is trying out. So the Raiders
Are coming. They're back. Are they officially back?
I won't go that far, but you know, I have to protect myself. You know, keep myself at a distance.
That's fair. That's fair. But dude, I mean, I agree with you. I think there's so many people that just it's kind of like the Monday morning quarterback thing, right? Where people sit down and they're just like, "Yo, we're trash again," because they lost the game 1-0, and it's like, isn't there like 100 games left? Like what? What are we doing? I mean, I jokingly say this to people all the time, but it's kind of the truth. Talk to me in July. Like in July, if you're in the basement, so to speak, then that's where you're going to wind up. I don't remember who it was. Someone in our group text said the other day, "See, I told you guys the Giants were a sham," and I saw and they walked off. Like they came back and beat the Mets, like the another good team. So I mean,
Who would have said that?
There's only one person I could think
Somebody
of.
who's really hopeful.
Yeah, and my inkling goes to Babyface, but I mean I'm not here to put anyone on blast.
The champion of positivity on this show. That's who said that.
That's his gimmick.
Well, there are injuries.
The champion of positivity. That's the gimmick.
The champion.
Well, if you guys don't know, we are wrestling fans here, and if you didn't know this, well, I don't think Alysha's a wrestling fan, but we are. Myself, Juan, and Roger, and the Babyface gimmick is an ironic name. He does not think he is a heel, though. He is, in his mind, a babyface, and that's why we're here. So the
golden era forever. WWF golden era forever.
WrestleMania 10 is still the best WrestleMania ever. I will stone cold stun anyone that says otherwise.
WrestleMania tree. WrestleMania tree.
Yeah. Trey.
Is this the Hulk Hogan era?
That's the golden era, but we don't talk about Hulk Hogan. We talk about the Macho Man Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat, Jake the Snake, the guys who really carried wrestling, and not the pukester, not that prima donna Hogan who just
destroyed everything.
Exactly. What was good for the business is if he would lose every once in a while. But hey, what do I know?
I mean,
wait, do you guys like female wrestling? Because a lot of females are super popular.
Yeah. I mean, like they've brought back like
Legend. Calling. I should. If my sister and I had grown up just a little bit later, because we used to get into a lot of trouble and a lot of fights. Imagine if we would have been channeled into becoming like the sister act wrestlers, like chicanas. Like we would be superstars right now. I'm just saying.
You could have been Tirando Barrio on WWE many years ago, and we missed that window, and I'm upset. I'm upset that we missed that window.
I'm just saying.
But also, for the record, Jake the Snake Roberts is also in Juan Ramirez's Fight Club. So let's just get
I love Jake the Snake. He's not in my Fight Club.
I thought he was because he DDT'd Ricky Steamboat, kayfabe.
No. I love Jake the Snake. I think Jake the Snake is great. Hogan is in your Fight Club. And this shouts out to one of our listeners, Jerry Thayes. Macho Man Randy Savage forever. Hogan couldn't even lace Savage's boots. There, I said it. So I'm gonna come at me. There we go. Thank you, Alysha.
There's two people that will never come on our show: Rob Manfred and Hulk Hogan. Dang.
That's true. Yeah.
I actually was going to ask people if they had any questions for us to throw them into the into the chats or the DMs or whatever the kids say. We actually got a question. Sports Empire asks, do y'all feel that the team chemistry just isn't there? Feel too many stars on the same team isn't always good? No. These guys, Edwin Rios said it best. They all know their job. These dudes know what's going on. Some of these guys have been to the promised land. Trey Turner's won a title or a World Series as well previously. Freddie Freeman won one, obviously. I'm not worried about the chemistry. What about you guys?
Well, I think Babyface should answer this question because Babyface is really big on chemistry. I know that he feels like when Kike wasn't here, that the Dodgers were missing the energy that Kike. Hanser is supposed to bring that energy. I mean, Kike, Babyface, you feel like there should be someone on the team that is specifically there to keep everybody light, right? To prevent everybody from tensing up, right?
Pujols had that job as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
this year's
100%.
Hansen. This you even heard Don Shaw said it today on the show, on the game, that Hanser is that guy. Every team, every championship team needs a guy like Hanser that keeps the clubhouse loose. And this year it's Hanser.
So is that chemistry? Does that count as chemistry to have a class clown in the locker room?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's there. I'm sure he was there when Muncy made that error. I bet Hanser was there. Trying to like, hey, just trying to joke with them and trying to get him to feel better about himself. I think that's the type of guy, the type of player that, like I said, every team needs. And when they hit a rough patch, when they lost those what was it, 4 games, you need a guy to come out there with that energy just to change the vibe, like his thing, change it up, So I think we need a guy like Hanser.
Alysha, let me ask you this: team chemistry. I think. How would you define it? It doesn't mean that you have to like your teammates, right? It's just. Team chemistry is whether you complement each other, right? If you play for each other as opposed to playing for individuals, which I think is what Sports Empire's question is getting at.
I think you hit it right on the head. That is exactly what it's about. You don't have to be best friends. You don't have to spend days off with one another. What you have to do is remember that you are all playing for the same goal. And I am quite confident that this team, Edwin Rios agreed, they are special. And Alonso was the first one to bring that up when we were speaking with Edwin Rios. This team this year is extra special because as Dodger fans, we've been spoiled. We're having the same conversation like every season. But truly, do I sound like a company man? Like in the Dodgers know what they're doing. That's what I mean. I feel like I'm sounding like, and they're not paying me, but you think that they have not done their due diligence when they put guys together, when they are pulling people up, sending people down, trading. I mean, I just feel like I'm leaving it to the experts because I got enough to worry about. I want to be just a good fan. I'm not going to be that Monday morning quarterback, and I do believe that the chemistry is there and they are all on the same mission. I mean, look how lighthearted Clayton Kershaw is this season, right? Like he's helping with that chemistry. I love it. Bring it. Absolutely.
All right. So I know we're up against it, Babyface. So want to go into the next 7 games with our picks. And before we go into that, I just do want to give a quick update. So because Alysha and Alonso and Roger won, let me update the standings real quick on where we are so far. So in first place with 3 points is Alonso, and he's tied with me. I have 3, and then Alysha and Roger both have 2. So with that, Alonso, since you control the leaderboard, what are your picks for the next 7 games, which are 4 in Arizona, and then they come back home to play 3 against the Pirates?
So let's see here. Sorry, I have to look at the times because I feel like the times have something to do with their wins. So that may not be the most scientific thing in the world, but that's where we're at. So here, let's go. So we got 7, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go. I'm going 5-2.
All righty. Alysha?
I've been playing it safe. Winning the series has been the goal. But should I Price is Right you, Alonso?
Wow. Okay.
First, should I go 6-1? Wait, 5-2. Yeah.
First, she wants to get into the wrestling ring. Now she wants the Price is Right. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just have some fun. The Dodgers are rolling. I love to tell Arizona, I'll jump in your pool. So let's go 6-1. 6-1.
Throwback Thursday on a Wednesday for Alysha right there.
All right. As tradition, we're going to save babyface for last. So
right.
I'm going to go and I'm going to go 5-2 too. So
wow, optimistic Juan.
That's right. That's right. I went 3-3, and obviously this team is not. But I will say this: I think the Dodgers need to take advantage of this because after Pittsburgh, the schedule is going to get a little more difficult. The New York Metropolitans, the Metropolitans of New York, are coming into town, so they need to pile up the wins now and take advantage.
And so are the White Sox.
Yes,
Your Fighting White Sox, who are low key not a bad team.
The Southsiders. The Southsiders.
That's who I called for the World Series, wasn't it? Or
yeah,
I think so. Yes, I believe you called. Right now they are 21.
They're struggling.
They're 500, but
they're struggling. But we'll definitely next time we
bring old shit up, right? Like,
next time, because we're running out of time. But next time we really should get into this Josh Donaldson, Tim Anderson.
I actually wanted to say that for when we're not trying to stay up hard against the clock and babyface throw something at someone.
Exactly. So babyface, give us your picks. 13-0.
Alysha took my score.
He's going 8-0. 8-0. He's going
6-1.
You know you can. So you're gonna go 6-1.
6-1.
All right.
Let me ask you this, Roger. Which game do they lose?
They'll lose one in Arizona.
Write that down too, because I just want to. When the pessimism starts, we can go back and check notes on that. But on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. Big thanks to Edwin Rios for stopping by.
Yes.
Huge shout out to him. Huge thanks to Bet Online for presenting this episode of the podcast. Bet Online, #1 source for all your betting needs. Go to their website, betonline.ag. And use our promo code, which is Believe, BLEAV, the network that we're on. You'll get 50% on your first deposit. Super easy. Huge thanks to them for presenting. Even though we just gave our predictions, you guys that are listening and following and subscribed and all that jazz, throw your predictions to us either on Twitter or Instagram, and then we can see who's closest to the pin. Whether it's myself, whether it's Roger, whether it's Alysha, La Chola from T-ville. That's the gimmick, right?
That's right.
But well, I'm kind of curious to see the
from
fan
parts unknown.
Parts unknown. What was Mankind from the Boiler Room? Mankind when he was announced. I forgot that was the thing. But either way, we'd like to see your predictions. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe because you never know who's going to roll by the Carne Asada. Today it was Edwin Rios. Tomorrow we don't know who it could be. It could be anyone. I kind of hope it's Dave Roberts. I like to have a conversation with him. But on that note, we'll wrap it up. From your boys Alonso, Juan, Alysha, this is the Bleed Los podcast, and we will catch you down the road.